What is good, you guys? We are back with another video, and today we're back with another day on the hardwood. Name another post-game recap, and we had two. One really good game, and another one was okay. I didn't watch much of the Sixers-Hawks game, so I'm not going to talk too much on it, but it just seems like if they put Ben Simmons and Matisse Thybulle on him more, and Danny Green on Trae Young less, Trae Young plays worse. If the Hawks don't make 23s, it's hard for them to beat the Sixers. And in that second half, they really showed the defensive adjustments that they made at halftime, and they brought that right in the game too, and they just continued on with it. It was John Collins not playing as good as he played in game one, coming off the fades and things like that, and Joel Embiid having another insane game. The Sixers end up winning, and after the second half, after I watched the second half, I said that this series may not be as competitive as I thought that it would be in the first half, with the adjustments that they made and just not putting Danny Green on him as much in this game. It just made it harder for him. Shout out to Kevin Huerter for showing up and playing good, though. Shout out to him for sure. I'm not sure what Danilo Gallinari did, that fight or whatever happened with him and Joel Embiid. Like I said, I only watched the second half, but people that have that hairstyle just tend not to. I just think they wouldn't play good. Like, if you have that hairstyle, it's impossible for you to actually be a good NBA player. It's impossible for you to play good in any level that you're playing basketball. And if you have that type of hairstyle, bro, and that's what's happening right now. Just why would he do that to himself? That's a curse. He put a curse on himself for no reason, bro, getting that type of haircut, and it's really sad in my opinion. But man, the Hawks got to come out with some better adjustments in game 3 to slow down Joel Embiid a little bit more. And Trae Young has to get going on Matisse and Ben, because those are going to be the primary matchups for him for the rest of the series. Danny Green just ain't it, bro. He ain't it. But that's all I got for that game, man. Let's get into the game. I watched this game from the tip-off to the end of the game, man, and it was a really good game, and it was a game of runs, and it was a game of a lot of dry spells for each team. Utah Jazz came out shooting like 5 for 28 in the first half, and they only were down 7 after missing 21 straight field goals in the first half. And man, that has to give you some type of confidence. Missing 21 straight field goals, going 5 for 28 from the three-point line as a three-point shooting team, and you're only down by 7. Now, a lot of that had to do with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard just not playing as well as they did in the Dallas series, and boy, oh boy, was that frustrating to watch for them not to play good in this series. But Kawhi looking like he couldn't miss a shot last series, 45 points. If they combined for 21 points going into the fourth quarter, last series we would be against the Jazz right now, but Kawhi wanted to be a robot. PG didn't want to be playoff P. KP did, and they ended up getting to that. But that's all I'm gonna talk. I'm not gonna talk about the Mavs no more. I'm sorry, I just can't help myself sometimes. But like I was saying about the Utah Jazz, shooting 5 for 28 from the three-point line, you just had to know that they're gonna shoot better than that in the second half. And boy, oh boy, did they do that. And also, did Donovan Mitchell come to play even better than he did in the first half in the second half, finishing with 45 points. Tough bucket after tough bucket. Is he gonna knock Paul George out the playoffs again? Man, that'll be tough for his. That's just that's tough, bro. If he knocks PG out again, that's very tough. And I think Donovan Mitchell, this game felt like one of those games from last season when he was dropping 50 like every single game, especially in the first half. Him and Jordan Clarkson felt like they're the only ones that could even throw something in the ocean, bro, and that was kind of the feeling I had last year. But in the second half, some of the shooters started hitting a little bit more. Niang, Bogdanovich, Ingles hit a couple. You know what I'm saying? O'Neal wasn't hitting great from 3, but was being very energetic on the offensive glass, and obviously being a really good defender and in the passing lanes like he usually is. Probably him and Ingles have to hit a little bit more next game for them to get another dub. But yeah, man, I saw a lot of Mighty Oni minutes today. What does he do? Like, what is... I don't know. I don't know what he does, like, well. But he just be on the court. I mean, I guess he's a decent defender with his length, but that's all I can think of. Anyway, half of y'all probably don't even know who Mighty Oni is. It's number 81 for them. But yeah, if they want to come out and win game 2, like I said, Donovan Mitchell playing great. Some of those shooters have to come along, and Mike Conley, hopefully he's back in this series because he was missed in that pick and roll with Rudy Gobert. And Rudy Gobert really didn't get involved very much this game. And when Rudy Gobert's involved and Donovan Mitchell's going off, this team is very, very hard to stop. But even if just one of those things is happening, they still win the game. And Rudy Gobert will still being very impactful on the defensive end as well, especially on PG, Kawhi in the paint. And it felt like Kawhi against the Mavs, he get very deep into the lane and pull up for that mid-range. It feels like it's a little bit harder for him to do that in this series. And PG probably got his floater blocked 2 or 3 times by Rudy Gobert. And that type of effect on shots can like maybe hinder your confidence and defend from Kawhi taking those mid-range shots like he always does deep in that lane. And that's a very, very important shot for him. And if a player like Rudy Gobert can affect things like that, that's very, very important for that Utah Jazz team in winning the series. Now let's talk about the Los Angeles Clippers, man. One thing I liked is that with Paul George and Kawhi struggling, they went deep into the bench. It feels like Tyronn Lue has been big on adjustment and not really caring about keeping the rotation very similar game to game. Today, Patrick Beverley was the first one to come off the bench instead of Terrence Mann as a guard. Luke Kennard played a lot, and I mean a lot more minutes than I thought he should have played. But just the gutsiness to up and down. It feels like it's just his feeling. He's no politics, none of that. He's just playing who he thinks he should play, and I feel like that's how you should coach. Patrick Beverley was the first guard to come off the bench instead of Terrence Mann. Mann didn't get that many minutes. Kennard did. Rondo got a lot of minutes. Didn't play that well in it. DeMarcus Cousins got off the bench. It just feels like he just do what he needs to do to win the game. It didn't work out today because their stars went 9 for 19 in Kawhi and 4 for 17 in Paul George. But just the ability to do that in the confidence in himself to do that, I really like that from Tyronn Lue, so shout out to him. I feel like DeMarcus Cousins should have got a little bit more minutes because he was running that floor, playing okay defense on Rudy Gobert, and being decent on defense in the paint, so I feel like he should have got a little bit more minutes. But hey, it is what it is. Rajon Rondo, a couple times, just needed to get off the ball, stop dribbling it, and just pass it up. He was just trying to make a play like too hard, like it didn't have to be that hard. Reggie Jackson, another reason why a lot of guards off the bench got a lot more minutes is because Reggie Jackson was in huge foul trouble. 5 fouls, and Tyronn Lue kept him in, and like 2 possessions later, he got a 6th foul, and he was out for the game, and Rondo was in for the rest of the game. And with that, Rajon Rondo was not even close to the shot creator and 3-point shooter that Reggie Jackson is in that starting lineup, and I feel like that may have hindered the shot making at the end of the game. Marcus Morris wasn't hitting at the end of the game like he was in the beginning. Kawhi, like I said, didn't, like, with Kawhi and PG, Kawhi was quiet and PG was missing. And that can't be the case for their 2 best players if they want to win, man. I mean, Kawhi could have played a little bit better, sure. PG going 4 for 17 and just being missing for a lot of the game and just not feeling his impact at all. Just actually feeling him just miss, and the bricks just kept coming, and it felt like he was getting tight. Like as the game just went on, it felt like he was getting tighter and tighter. And that's a really bad feeling to have as a second option on a championship contending team. And he has to get that confidence back for game 2, or this may be a very short series for the Los Angeles Clippers, because although he didn't shoot great throughout the entire series for the Dallas Mavericks, it felt like he was affecting the game in other ways, getting 10 assists in game 7, you know what I'm saying, being good on the defensive end, good on the boards. In the first 4 games, he was actually scoring really, really well. He has to get back to doing something very, very effectively, and today he wasn't doing that. He was turning the ball over a good amount, which I don't really see from the entire Los Angeles Clippers team, let alone in particular Paul George. So all that has to get back into place, and they have to stop Donovan Mitchell if they want a chance in this series to win it. But it's only game 1. Also, shout out to Ivica Zubac. People thought he was going to be a liability in the series, and in his minutes, he was actually really, really good. I have to shout out him. But that's all I got for you guys today, man. If you like this type of content, like a sub on the video if you haven't already. I'll be back with another post-game recap tomorrow, and I'll see you guys next time.